do you come up with these topics?
I don't. I let the wellness educators, I say, give me the topics, and I put them on a schedule, and they all just sign up for them. So
that's great.
Yeah, we just put it out there, and they all send me a long list of topics, and
that's great. So that the ideas come from the minds of the experts that we bring in.
Yeah.
So we're not going to hear from you for the next 24 minutes.
Most likely not, except if you're pointing out the fact that my posture isn't good while I'm sitting here. Then
Well, listen, we all sit, we all stand. Are we doing it right? I would guess not.
We're going to find out, apparently.
Kelly Molloy is here. And Kelly's great because Kelly will tell you, you're doing it wrong, but she's going to smile while she does it.
Right, so you can feel good about it.
I like that.
I know, it's a good thing.
As opposed to my grandmother that would,
I know.
Bang! And she'd look mean and ugly. Kelly will smile when she's telling you, you're doing it all wrong.
Yeah.
I like that. Mm-hmm. Kelly Molloy is a certified health coach who helps people make connections between food and their mood. I like that. Also teaches mindful movement, meditation, and aromatherapy practices to help people get rid of emotional and physical toxins so they can lead healthier, happier lives. You can find Kelly at greenlifewellness.com or on Instagram as livefreekelly. And that's Kelly. No extra E.
Thank you.
Stuck in there.
She spells it right.
Yeah. And Dr. Sam back in the house. Good to have you back, Sam.
Great being back.
Dr. Sam considers himself extremely blessed to be able to touch people and assist them with their wellness goals through chiropractic after 25 years. When you started that, did you think it was going to be like a lifelong thing?
The passion was there to keep it going that long, and there were, of course, bumps in the road, but here we are.
Yeah, right.
And now I could see that it's the right path.
One of the greatest rewards is having the opportunity to teach folks how their body works, how to listen to and there's the tough part. Mm-hmm. Listen to and properly interpret the signals that show up in the way of symptoms. And Sam can be reached at Dr. Sam at mycommunitychiro.com. So we're going to talk about posture this morning. We know about it, and if your mother and grandmother were like mine, my elbows were like this because I'd be hit with silverware at the dinner table.
That's right.
When I was leaning forward and I had my elbow on the table, my grandmother would take that flatware and crack me. You learned. Okay, it's negative reinforcement. I appreciate that.
I know.
However,
it did work for us.
It worked.
It worked for us.
And it was always sit up straight.
Yeah.
And our teachers were the same way. Are educators doing it that much in the classrooms anymore? With our teachers, it was always sit up straight. Don't slouch, sit up.
No.
I'm not sure it's happening in schools nowadays.
Okay,
we've moved on generations.
Yeah.
Because their generation grew up with sit up straight. Like our generation grew up.
But did it hold? I mean, are you still...
Yes.
Okay, so even if you're at a desk, you're not hunched over because they said sit up straight, and that's been ingrained in you, and you do that
pretty
to
much.
This day.
Because when I do a lot of my work out of the studio at home, in the home office, and it's not the slouch, it's the sit up, and I will catch myself slouching, and it's like, oh, okay, no, and then pick myself up, and if I feel that, okay, this just isn't working, then I get up and walk around, and then come back and sit down. Parts of it. I'm not 100% poster child by any stretch, but a lot of what parents, educators taught me has stayed ingrained. And I try to walk. I don't, knuckles are not dragging the ground. I'm standing up and walking, because that was just something that was ingrained in me. So,
and I get it in the appropriate places. When I'm in church, when I'm at the dining room table, I hear my mother's voice and my shoulders, my back straightens up and my shoulders go back.
But I don't know if they ever told us the reason why. Sit up straight is all I got. So what was...
because I said so was our generation.
Right.
So let's explain it out.
Yeah, so the importance of correct posture.
Sure, you're leaving this to me. Well, our posture...
Dr. Sam, mom for all.
I'll take that over. I'll take it. Our posture is just a reflection of our spine because our spine is the major framework inside of our bodies, and our spine houses our nerve system, our spinal cord. Mm-hmm. And if our posture is off, that tells us that our spine has potential stress or imbalance in it. And that can put stress on those nerves. And it doesn't necessarily mean like immediate and noticeable symptoms or pain, but it is slowing down the function of that communication system from our brain to our body. Mm-hmm. So, think of our posture as a reflection of our spine. We can think of it in the same way as a reflection of our health. And one of the things I really emphasize is like people have no idea what their spine looks like on the inside. They think it's just a straight line,
Right.
like from the front, and from the side as well. And from the side, it has curves. It has natural curves. And when we're aware of those, we can support those when we're seated. It just naturally brings us to an upright position.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes stress off that nerve system. It takes stress off of our bones and discs, as well as our muscles, because then the spine can help support the body.
Mm-hmm.
So people come to you,
Yeah.
or they come to Kelly, a lifetime of bad posture,
Sure.
which takes its toll, as you said, doesn't happen instantly.
Yeah.
And then I want to be cured quickly.
Yeah,
Do you try to explain to them that, no, it took you 20 years to get here?
Yeah, but I got a thing this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of thing. We start in the very beginning. It's like if we want to make some corrections to this process, you got to realize what we're working with. We're working with a memory that's in the muscles, and it's not just the muscles that you can see and feel, say the traps, the shoulders.
Right.
Everyone's walking around with that.
Oh, yeah.
But there are also the deeper muscles beneath those that attach like one cervical vertebra to the next cervical vertebra to the next one, and those are so ingrained and because of, say, a forward head shift from slouching, those muscles are there really just so we can rotate our head to the left and the right.
Right, and they're compensating for what's not going right.
Exactly, and they become over the decades like steel girders just to work to hold our head upright. And it takes time to retrain those, and we can start to see those bits and pieces of improvement and feel that. But it's a process that takes time. And once they start to understand, okay, it's a commitment that am I willing to make it or not?
That's the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, they go in to see you, and you say, oh, you know, it's going to take 5, 6, 10. Oh, that's it. You're just trying to get me on the hook for this. No.
Yeah,
I'm trying
no.
to cure you.
I'm trying to
but
explain,
people have this thing in their head that says, oh, yeah, no, you're trying to put your kid through college, and you want to get me to do it for you. No. I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, everyone's free to make their own decision,
Right,
and how they want to proceed with that.
Kelly? What's mindful movement?
So
I like that, but what is it?
So it's basically you could consider it stretching in different postures to strengthen. So a lot of what I see with people is when they're trying to sit in a posture and maybe just doing an opening meditation. Even a lot of people can't sit upright for very long, right? Because they've been using, their body or having the wrong posture for so long that now they don't even have the muscles to help support them in sitting upright, right? And it feels painful and uncomfortable. So it's, getting them to make that investment in themselves to keep working on it, right? So they might go to see Dr. Sam, but there's also things they're going to have to do on their own at home,
right?
Or maybe take some classes to help them support that better posture.
So when somebody's listening to us now on their way to work, and they're sitting in their probably really bad chair, ergonomic. What is there a proper way? I'm sitting in front of my computer screen or my 2 computer screens at the desk. Is there a proper way that I'm supposed to be sitting? How long am I supposed to be sitting? I mean, how do I help myself? Is basically what I'm looking for.
Right. Well, I think the first piece is just that mindfulness piece, just being aware of what your posture is like. Right? We all know when we have bad posture, we're just not maybe conscious of it.
No, because we're busy doing whatever's in front of us,
Right.
not where we're sitting, right?
Right. But if you're slouching over, right, if you're not, lifting, just like your mother told you.
Right.
Yeah.
Put the shoulders
Shoulders
back.
back. My mother did it too.
Oh, yeah, I always had you do that. Okay, fine. And you carry yourself. All right, fine.
Yeah. And the other problem is we just sit too much. Most of us are in
How much am I,
sedentary position.
an hour? How
I don't
much
know.
an hour am I supposed to be getting up from my chair and walking around?
I don't think I know those numbers.
I've heard 5 minutes every hour. Go take 5 minutes, just so you're not like 3 hours in a sitting position before you get up and go to lunch. In a bad sitting position, especially.
Yeah, I think that works out well, and it keeps people also just aware, okay, 5 minutes.
And
their timer goes
thank
off.
you for admitting. I don't know that one.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We would have just bowled in and given an answer. So I respect that. Thank you.
If you're at a desk and hunched forward, is there anything that you can be doing that counters that, like laying on a flat surface, or simply trying to stretch your arch your back the opposite way? Is there anything that you can do exercise wise or stretching wise that is a counter? counter to that?
Sure. Like I'll tell people all the time to do like heart opening, right? So if they're sitting at their desk, just do some heart openers every once in a while, right? Open the chest.
Oh, okay.
Press the shoulder blades back together.
Nice.
Another thing too is though, what's happening with your legs? Are your feet planted on the floor? Are your legs crossed?
Nice.
Because those things all affect your spine too.
Absolutely. And like we had mentioned, most of the workforce these days spends their workday in a seated position.
Right.
And from, one of the most important things I tell people is you got to be aware of your lumbar curve, right at the belt line. Mm-hmm. We talk about fancy cars or really fancy office chairs. They have a lumbar support. We can make something up on our own just with a rolled up towel. Mm-hmm. But also keeping in mind that if we're seated all the time, those muscles on the front of our legs, our quadriceps, they become shortened over time. And chronically, that's going to just start tilting our pelvis in an unhealthy way that can lead to extra stress on our discs, our lower back muscles that support us.
Wow.
So,
but like you said, it's not going to be an immediate pain. It's going to be slowly happening over time and your body just sort of getting used to you doing it that way.
And it becomes decrepit in the process.
Yeah.
And many people I know now and that I work with have the option to have a stand-up desk. And that gives them an option to switch their position throughout the day, which is better than nothing.
Right.
But movement is the overall best
I was going to say,
opportunity.
if the quads shrink,
Yeah.
how do I reverse that process?
Well, there are basic, simple stretches that we can do with that, Peter, like...
Sam, they don't.
Yeah, sure. If you're saying standing up, using one hand to support your body on a counter, and then just reach behind and try to grab your ankle with your hand, your heel should come pretty close to your buttocks. Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't, that's a sign that those muscles are shortened and tightened.
I used to make that move playing Twister.
Yeah.
You thought it was your winning move. I know.
Isn't that the chiropractor's favorite game?
Oh, yes.
You're always moving, bending.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is. And, but that's one way to just assess, hey, are these muscles getting short on me? Maybe it's something I can address. And then just spending some time, some mindful, slow breaths, keeping that tension on those muscles just to elongate them. Mm-hmm. It's going to bring a balance back. When I find people with really chronic low back issues and they're lying face down on my table and I just try to bend their heel towards their butt and we can't even get halfway, I say, okay, here's a sign that we've got a problem that's really long-standing.
Wow.
And there's no adjustment that's going to change that in one day.
That's so funny. And their mind was, it's my lower back.
Right.
And you know what? But it's not your lower back because it affects everything.
Well,
So
yeah.
If you can bend if they're face down and you can get the heel to touch their butt, that's good.
That's normal flexibility.
Yeah, that is normal.
Yes.
Okay. So it's just for people, if you want to try it at home tonight, get your spouse or your significant other to try it, get an idea where you are.
Exactly.
And you may be thinking, this is, what do you mean I'm halfway?
Yeah.
Might be an eye-opener for some people.
Yeah. So we spend so much time in bed sleeping or whatever. Is there anything from a, posture, good or bad, from all that time you're laying in bed that you should or shouldn't be doing?
Good question. That's a good question.
Well, one thing I know from chiropractic is definitely don't sleep on your stomach.
Yeah.
Yep. I think I gave that up.
Side guy.
I start on side, I end up on back.
And why do people use a pillow between their legs? What's that for? Is that for posture or what's that for? Who knows?
Oh, yeah, sure. If we're lying on our back, for instance, a pillow under our knees can really help support our low back curve. Mm-hmm. And if we have that pillow there and we turn to a side sleeping position, that pillow will just keep our knees from touching each other. It tends to reduce any rotation with our hips or low back.
Yep.
So we're keeping that neutral spine, whatever that healthy position is, which we try to teach people in the office. We want to try to maintain that when we're sleeping. Mm-hmm. And having a pillow between our knees keeps our hips from rotating forward, rotating those lower lumbar segments, bringing imbalance to those muscles.
How important is a firm mattress as opposed to the ones I always find at the hotel where I hit and I just kind of sink? And it's like, this is terrible.
So, I mean, just supporting your body, right? If you're in a really soft mattress, and that's going to allow, right, your spine, just think of your spine.
To do whatever it wants, while you're sleeping.
It'll be like the hammock approach to sleeping.
Right.
Pretty much. Yeah. Wow. And the hotel, the pillows are either like the consistency of this piece of paper, or they're like rocks. So my neck is now cranked up, and you're beating the pillow trying to find a little groove. Yeah. There's no one good thing.
Well, and I think a lot of people are looking for the perfect pillow or the perfect mattress, but they're not doing the other things during the day, right? In terms of moving their body, not sitting.
Good point.
And so we can't just look to the pillow to fix.
So that doesn't offset some of the bad things during the day?
I don't think so.
Okay. No, well, that's good.
No, I don't know. I think if you've got, crappy posture the entire day and then you're like mad at your pillow, you're not looking at the whole picture. You know what I mean?
All right.
That's pointing pictures elsewhere. You got to point. You got to point fingers at yourself.
Wow. I do. I love this time of year because I see people in Concord downtown between 11 and
starting
1:30. They're out walking.
Yeah, it's great.
They're out walking. I mean,
a
ton of people, office people. You can tell. Skirts, dresses, sneakers. It's like beautiful. Slap it on the sneakers. Doing a 15, 20-minute walk. Great, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Is that good for posture or good for muscle? Good for attitude? I mean, everything?
Where do we start with that one?
Yeah.
First of all, there's the movement component, which is good.
Right.
Because, if we've been sitting at a desk, we need to get that blood circulating through our muscles, our large muscles, and get that blood going through our heart and our lungs.
Does my blood pressure go down?
There's evidence that says that it does.
It does, okay.
Absolutely. Right. And also, we're typically outside when we're doing that walking.
Yeah.
It's a whole different environment that we're breathing in, that we're taking in through our senses if we're aware of it, the sounds, the light.
Little vitamin D from the sun,
Yep.
Exactly. Those benefits, are amazing, even if it's, like you said, Peter, a 15-minute walk outdoors. Yeah. That can make the difference.
I know some of the people up the street. What's the big cemetery? Up the street.
I don't know the name of that one.
Okay. But a lot nice roads through there. They walk up the side. What is this? Whatever. Walk up the street, cut up there because there's no traffic, walk around the hills, and then make the loop. And back. And they're like, wow, that was a 25-minute, half an hour walk. Okay. Now I'm going to get something to drink and ready to go back to work. Right. I respect that. I think that's great. And I just see more people doing it.
So I wanted to take this opportunity, starting March 17th at the Bank of New Hampshire stage, is a free yoga class led by Allison Sullivan. So the co-op is underwriting it, and with the help of the Capital Center for the Arts. But it starts at 12:15, and it's only half an hour. So people for their lunch break,
perfect lunch break. Yeah,
can shoot over there. Doors open at 12, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Perfect.
We got to take a break.
Let's do that.
We'll do that. And I'm going to stand up and walk around.
There you go.
All right, we'll be back right after this.
Sit up, would you? Bad posture can affect your legs and your shoulders. Is there anything else, Kelly, that bad posture can lead to bad things?
Yeah, there's quite a few, and that's one of the things I think.
She jumped on that one.
Yeah.
Most people don't think about how posture can affect their digestion, or even things like.
Now, how does it affect digestion?
So, just think about sitting with bad posture.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And there's been studies done that link it actually to things like constipation and, Yeah. But I'm going to let Sam tell us a little bit more about the vertebrae that are involved in that and how that all works.
Oh, absolutely, because there is a direct link as well. I mean, that's why when we talk about posture being related to our health, it can be related to all aspects of our health.
Right.
If you just envision for just a moment your body sitting in a slouched posture, it's like a big C in your spine. And that's not the natural position. And the nerves that exit in our thoracic vertebra between our ribs, majority of those nerves go to our digestive organs to help them function and do their job properly and correctly. That's
right.
one
It's
way.
like right after you eat, all of a sudden you're cold because it's like, okay, we're on digestion patrol. All the cells go to your digestion.
Yes, that's right. That part of the body has to get to work. And we want to make sure that those nerve impulses that go to those organs are able to get through so those organs can do their job. But also, we have the fact that we're just compressing everything in our abdomen and all that abdominal cavity. Yeah. So they don't have the space to do what they have to do.
Right, and to flow in the way it needs to flow.
Yeah, so it's like the upright posture is going to take the pressure off the nerves. It's going to take the pressure off the organs. We were designed the way we were. It's like an architectural marvel.
It really is.
And we're kind of abusing that when we slouch, when we are not taking care of our posture properly.
And another thing that I find interesting is that it can actually affect your mood. So studies have been done. Actually, Amy Cuddy at Harvard, she did a research project on the fact that your posture can actually raise your cortisol levels. So slouching can increase your cortisol and lower your testosterone. And the reverse, people that had good posture, or what she called power posture or power posing.
Right.
You saw that probably. There's a TED Talk on it.
Oh, nice.
But it's pretty impressive that you can literally, just by sitting upright and being in more of a power pose, you can lower your cortisol.
And cortisol is the stress hormone.
I was going to say, that's the
damage
not good hormone.
in our body.
So are people surprised when they come in and speak with the two of you and you start laying it out like this, going bada boom, bada bing, and they're like, oh, I didn't know.
But it makes sense.
Yeah.
But you got to know.
Well, I think people have an innate sense of what's good and what's bad.
Well, I understand, but when it gets explained to you like that,
that's what I'm saying.
Then it's like,
Right, but sadly, we're not really taught about our bodies.
No, we're not. I know.
Usually until we have a problem.
No, you're
right, and then you got to go into the full explanation. I just came in about my back pain. Why are you talking to me about my digestion? Well, because it's all connected.
So when you explained it to somebody, Sam,
Yeah.
do they sit there and go, bingo, turn on the page? Or, hey, I got 50 years invested in doing it the wrong way. You know, it works for me.
Most frequently, people say, that makes such perfect sense. That was never explained to me before.
Right.
And
I would have changed myself years before. Yeah.
And that's when we see those light bulbs going off and say, okay, this might be the time for me to make that commitment toward my health.
Okay, so the obvious question, is it ever too late to make a change?
There are cases where we can't do anything if the body has just been in that improper posture for so long. Oftentimes, I say oftentimes, I've seen it over a dozen times in my office through the x-rays that the spinal bones will actually become fused in an unhealthy position.
I've heard of that, yeah.
And then there's nothing that can be done. And I don't even think it's a surgical condition after that point. So we have to say, okay, there's nothing that can be done. This went on too long. We might be able to work with the areas above or below that fusion, but there are cases where it has gone too late.
Wow. Oh, we're done.
I know, please,
I
know. We've only gotten to like the third vertebrae. This is not good.
No, this is not good.
We could talk about this for an hour.
Sit up.
Okay.
Dr. Sam.
Yes, Mother.
Kelly Molloy, thank you. As always, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Greg?
If you're in the mood for real food, it's Concord Food Co-op.